G'day and welcome to Chewing the Fat. This week we're actually not in America, we're in Fieldy's house. That's right, Tom Fields' house. And to my right here is Alex Oricchio, and to my left is Fieldsy himself. Fieldsy, great to have you on the show, mate.
Thanks, Bevo. I appreciate it, mate. Absolute pleasure to be on board. Once Al came with a business opportunity to...
Good to have you,
mate. Thanks, mate. I really appreciate it.
So,
for all you viewers at home who don't know who this is, this is Harry and Marv here from Home Alone. The sticky bandits are upon us. We are in New York here too. This is Home Alone 2 in New York.
So I'm actually stuck between two South Adelaide players. So Tom Fields has played 78 games for the South, and the big fella to my right, we all know him, that's Alex Oricchio, both South Adelaide boys. But we'll get stuck into Tommy and your journey, mate. It's been a very interesting one. You started playing your footy in Queensland. You were born in Queensland.
Yeah.
And then you started playing footy in Labrador. And then you moved over from Labrador over to South Australia. Correct. So tell us all about that and how that all eventuated.
Yeah, so old man's originally from Melbourne. Grew up in Essendon pretty much his whole life. But mum's from Queensland, so grew up in Queensland pretty much my whole life. Played at Labrador Tigers, which was a fantastic junior club and helped me with a lot of my development stuff. And then in my draft year, when I got overlooked, sort of around 18, 19, I sort of, weighed up a few options on, where I wanted to go, because that was a big thing for me back then, trying to get, take my footy as high as I could go. And then South Adelaide, Neil Sharp gave me a ring when I was about, 19 years old. And they said, do you want to come over for a weekend, have a look around? And so, I thought, why not? Free holiday, didn't really think too much of it. And, came over, really enjoyed the place. 5 years later, I've been in Adelaide for 5 years. Loved it, made some lifelong friends at the club. Yeah,
fantastic.
So it's been awesome.
And you played a couple of games with the Blues, which is certainly no mean feat. You were drafted by them as a rookie listed player back in 2015. Yeah. What did that mean, being drafted to, having those couple of AFL games? Surely that would have been pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. So I did 2 years in the SNFL here under Brad Gotch. It was amazing, for my development. Still got a really good relationship with Gotchy to this day. He's now at Collingwood. Did the 1 year, 2 games at Carlton that year. It was really enjoyable experience, really good. Unfortunately, couldn't get the contract extended, but that's AFL. I think they've had something like 41 players turned over in about 3 or 4 years. So, crazy. And I got to meet the big Yank, the big American that year as well. He was down in the Blues, the Northern Blues. So it was good. Yeah, a lot of positives that year. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Tom, take us through. You'd made your debut at the MCG.
Yeah, correct.
So take us through. You're one of the few privileged guys in Australia who grew up dreaming of walking onto the MCG.
Yeah.
What's that feeling like when you put your boots on and you walk out? Crowd goes wild, walking up through the race. Yeah,
pretty surreal, especially Friday night against the G, against Richmond, who were, quite good back then as well. It was a pretty surreal experience, but you probably can't really let it sink in too much. You sort of got to, not let it, rattle you as such, and just get on and just play your role. But it was definitely a big experience.
Did you take any of the? You have any nostalgic things you did on that night? Did you take some grass, a bit of dirt? Any memorabilia that's going to be auctioned off?
Nothing really.
Nothing?
Nothing really, yeah.
Nothing you're hanging in the house? Nothing?
There is.
You got to have something.
There is my first game jersey, which you wanted to put in your room.
I worship it every night. I do the holy, all hell time.
Unfortunately, that's been scrapped to the spare room. But I do hold that dearly to me, the first game jersey.
Oh, so that sort of explains how the big fella got over here to play for South Adelaide through yourself, Fieldsy.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Part of the reason, he was looking for I guess a club, and he was one of my actually really good mates the year that we met in Melbourne. We got on really well. I travelled to New York later that year, and he showed me a bit around. So we thought, why not keep the ball rolling?
Got a couple of New York-sized feeds, didn't we?
Yeah, keep the ball rolling, baby.
Big dogs eat.
Awesome, and now you're playing footy together, which is just fantastic. And South Adelaide are flying at the moment. 2 wins the last couple of weeks against both grand finals from last year, of course, Port Adelaide and Sturt most recently. So you'll be going for 3 in a row this weekend, boys.
Yeah, definitely. And then I think 2 weeks before that we knocked off North, who were top of the ladder at their home deck. So, no, it's been a really enjoyable year. Buffer, Jared Wright, who's come on. He was assistant coach to Gotchi, who I was talking about 3 or 4 years ago now. But he's come on board. He's come in with a lot of enthusiasm. Like, our list is actually quite young when you look at it. I'm one of the older blokes now, which is a bit rattling in itself, to be honest. But it's been really enjoyable. Yeah, we've got a young list, but everyone's sort of playing to their strength. The kids are having a crack, and the older heads like Cross, Little Crab, they're all doing awesome as they normally do. So it's good.
And I'd like to fish a bit of dirt about the big man here, because he creeps under the radar, and he cruises along and doesn't really.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that I creep along, to be honest. I don't really know.
Bit of a golden child.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he's just the perfect.
We all can't have the dirty stash over here, I can't all be doing that.
So what's he like around the club?
You could say he's the barometer around the club, really.
Yep.
Especially Noarlunga, when it's about 8 degrees, it's windy. Sometimes, it's not the best place to be, but when you get into the club and the big blokes are yelling the house down and getting around everyone, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Joel Cross is certainly a big fan of Big Alex, so it's good. He's very good to have around the club. Very good clubman.
I'm sure the size of the fella as well. You'd be good to have you in his team as well.
There's always good banter. Most bets we make, I usually win, but there's always good banter. So
yeah.
Just do me one favor here. Set the record straight on camera. Please allow. Who is the best basketballer in the house? Who won our last game? Who won the last game of
I can't remember.
Yeah. I wouldn't remember either of that beating you took. You probably blacked out. It was such a bad beating.
Speaking about the last bet we had, I won, and I get to choose Alex's next date because he's single and ready to mingle for any women listening out there.
Oh.
Yes.
So it's his choice. His choice on who to come. I just get to pick the location. So I'm thinking maybe a shisha lounge at Hindley Street, possibly.
Yes. I like it.
Could be a McDonald's. Could be.
Might have to Google Map that. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what that is.
Anyway, boys, we should get into the footy. Of course, the AFL tomorrow night. There's a big game happening at the Adelaide Oval. It's the Power sitting in 8th position, coming off a great win last week, 14 points against the Tigers. They're up against the Dogs, who have been struggling this year, to be honest with you, sitting in 14th. They've had their fair share of injuries, but ever since they sort of won that grand final, they've been a disappointing side the last couple of years. So this should be an interesting game. It's going to be pretty wet conditions, so no doubt it's going to be a contested game of footy. How do you see this one going, boys?
Look, Friday night at home, Adelaide Oval. Look, the Dogs have had a tough year for sure. Port's flying high, especially after a big win last week against the Tigers. I'm going to take Port to get up in this one. Over to you, Tom.
Look, I'm just going to disagree with you highly there. I'm going to tip my upset of the round. I'm going to go with the Doggies.
Okay.
Couple of good mates there, Caleb Daniel and Billy Gowers, who are really good mates of mine, and they're everything's all good down at Doggyland. They're feeling refreshed after the bye. I'm thinking an upset. So
okay.
And Porter can sometimes beat the good teams, lose to the teams not going so well. So
I know all about that.
This is a Melbourne. I'd say maybe not at Adelaide Oval. Home field advantage.
Yep. Nice. We'll see how that one goes. Another cracking game on Friday night, boys. 7:20 at the SCG. West Coast, of course, are flying. City in first position. They're up against Sydney, who are also playing some really good footy. Won 5 in a row now. City in third. Big fella, how do you see this one going?
Look, I think the Swans a little bit of they're doing well, having a good year, but they're kind of flying under the radar a bit this year. No one's really talking about them just yet. I think West Coast, look, they did go over and they did beat Hawthorn in Melbourne. They usually don't travel well, but I think this year they're traveling better. But I like, at the SCG, I like Sydney to kind of make a statement that, hey, we're a team here and we're here to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jack Darling missing from the side. He's been playing superb footy this year, career best form. So I think that really hurts, missing him from the side. And you're right, Sydney's playing some good footy at the moment, 5 in a row. Probably go for 6 in a row, I think, this week. What about you, Fieldsy?
I'm going to have to agree with you boys there. Ooh. I have to agree with even the soccer baseball player there that doesn't know too much about footy. But no, I think you're on the money. Sydney is starting to get a few more boys on the park. Josh Kennedy's starting to, for the Swans, is starting to, after a slow start of the year, starting to really get into it. And even though the Swans have dropped a couple of games at the SCG, it's always a very tough task to travel, especially from Perth. So I want to tip the Swans start to come good at the right time of the year.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking with you with that one as well. And this one's going to be an interesting one. 1:15 at Etihad Stadium on Saturday. It's Carlton sitting in 18th versus Freo, coming off a great 3-point win last week against the Crows. The Blues, of course, have had the bye last week, and they were quite impressive. Even though they lost by 5 goals to Sydney, I think the scoreline flooded the Swans the other week. So I'm actually tipping an upset. I reckon the Blues are going to win this. What do you think, Fieldsy, about this game?
I got to agree with you, Bev. I'm going to go an upset as well to the Blues. I just think, Fremantle, they're sort of in a similar stage in the rebuild, maybe not as much as Carlton. But I think travelling over to Melbourne, Carlton having the bye, refresh, I think they're going to be really good. Cripps probably looked like the most banged up player I've ever seen watching a couple of weeks ago. Poor bloke was strapped from head to toe. But I think the week off will do him some good, and I think he'll have a big game, best on, and Carlton win by a goal or two.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Should be a good game of footy, though.
Should be a good one. Yeah, what about
Now,
yourself, Alex?
at the beginning of the show, when I called you guys Harry and Marv from Home Alone, I was kidding a little bit, but now I think you are backing me in here, that you guys are just as loopy and delirious as those two. There is no chance that Carlton wins this game. Freo,
No
look,
chance.
Nat 5's back in. Freo's going to win this game. Lock it in. Put that on the recording, folks. No chance, Carlton.
I think
Freo
you're an
all the way. Listen, we're going to have to bleep that out. We're not going to be name calling on television here.
All right, this one's going to be an interesting one, boys. Two sides that are really struggling. Gold Coast in 15th and the Saints in 16th. At the moment, Gold Coast 108-point loss to the Giants last week, and the Saints, very disappointing, going down by 71 points against the Swans. Alex, how do you see this one going?
Look, I don't think this is going to be a game of who wins. It's going to be a game of who doesn't lose. It's going to be... listen, you might want to go out and watch some local footy or watch some under 12s this week, because I don't think there's going to be too much interest in this game.
Find some shorts, big
Gold
fella.
Coast and St. Kilda. I'm taking a page out of your book over there.
It is at Metricon, though. It is
at Metricon, but there is the home oval advantage, will you, up there at Metricon. They didn't play their first 8 games up there because of the Commonwealth Games this year.
Yeah.
They might actually play better on the road, the Suns. So, because it's in the Gold Coast and St. Kilda is 0 on the season, this is my upset of the round, if you will. I'm taking the Saints up at Metricon.
You can't really call the upset of the
Nah.
round. Gold Coast not exactly.
Well, based on the ladder standings, if they're lower, it's an upset.
I'm going for the Saints as well. What about yourself, Fieldsy?
Going to go for the Suns. Home ground advantage. Saints travelling to Metricon. Yeah. Suns going to have to respond to the effort that they, I guess, produced last week. But yeah, I think they'll produce a really good effort. Stewie Jews, I think, still the right man for the job, on the right track, and I think they'll respond and have a crack, and they'll beat the Saints.
Should be an interesting game of footy. Another cracking game on Saturday night at 6:55 at the MCG. It's the Hawks in 11th position, coming off a 3-point win a couple of weeks ago before the bye against the Power, up against the Crows, who have now lost 3 in a row and pretty much their season on the line. They're in 10th at the moment. This one should be a great game. How do you see this one going, Alex?
Yeah, look, this is going to be an exciting game. Probably the game of the round. I think this game right here for Adelaide is make or break. If they can win this game, I think people are going to say, all right, they're a chance to get back in the finals race. Look, granted, they've had a pile of injuries.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult for them. Look, the Hawks coming off by. Listen, the wizard that Alistair Clarkson is. I think the Hawthorn. I just don't think Adelaide's the ball's going to bounce their way this year. Injuries are now becoming insurmountable, if you will. I'm going to take the Hawks to get up in this game.
Yeah, I think it's not just the injuries as well. It's all this talk about Mitch McGovern wanting to leave, Eddie Betts wanting to leave. It's certainly not the best culture at the Crows at the moment. So I'm with you. I think the Hawks will win this one. What about yourself, Fieldsy?
Going to have to go another upset here, boys. I have to go against you. I'm going to go the Crows. You don't make a grand final. You don't fluke making a grand final. Even though they've got a lot of injuries at the moment, I think culture-wise, leadership-wise, I think they'll get up here, backs against the wall. Big thing though on Laird if he plays. So teams come out tomorrow night. He'd be their BNF winner by an absolute length of the Flemington. So
Yeah.
big call if he plays. But if he plays, I reckon they get up.
Yeah. Dark horse for the Brownlows as well as I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
Just-
Could be the first one for however many years from half back.
Yeah, so many games this year, over 30 possessions.
Yeah.
Fieldsy, we've had this discussion a couple of times now, but if you're,
Talk to me.
let's just say you're on the Crows list this year, and you got to find out that you have to go do this starry camp with the military out in the woods, and been a lot of backlash from the players. If you're one of those guys in the FLS, what's your take on the whole situation? For or against?
Positives and negatives, but probably leaning towards more negatives. I don't want to sit on the fence, but it brings you together, which is really good. But I don't think torturing players or athletes or people doesn't get the best out of your team in the long run.
No, it's interesting.
There's definitely some more. There's definitely positives to it, but I think there's negatives outweigh the positives. Just.
So do you think that could have? Do you think there's any possible correlation between the fallout from that camp and the general chemistry and mindset of the players? Or you just think we're just grasping at straws?
Grasping at straws, yeah. I think just a bit of luck. Adelaide have had a really good run with injuries. Maybe they try to fit a bit too much in the short turnaround pre-season.
You look at Melbourne though. Melbourne goes to the Players Association and they say, "Well, no, we're not going on this camp." You know, they won 6 in a row before last week.
Yeah. No, that's a good point you bring up.
So interesting. Look,
Yeah.
You could go either way here. You know, you don't know, but it's interesting to see how teams respond. You know,
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
something
watch
to
this
think
space
about.
after this week's game. No doubt we'll see how the Crows turn up on Saturday. And a great game on Sunday. This promises to be a real beauty. Cats in fourth, coming off a 37-point win last week against the Roos. And the Tigers coming off a 14-point loss, some might say a disappointing loss against the Power last week. How do you see this one going, Alex?
Look, first off, I think out of all the people going down the slide last week, we didn't mention it. The Neil Danaher with the beanies with the big freeze of the G was a great success.
Yes, I was going to get to that, but that's right.
I don't want to take a thunder to them, but no, I think out of all, I think Damien Hardwick was hilarious to watch go down the slide, so that was exciting stuff. But in the game on the weekend, Cats, Tigers at the MCG. Look, is this the game where we finally say that Geelong is really a finals contender and someone that could flirt with the grand final, or are they just they got the big three with Selwood, Dangerfield, and all the boys, or are they really are they going to get Dusty Martin's back in?
Is he back in?
Dusty Martin's back in as of this moment.
I hear he's still in NZ.
Inside sources tell me that he's back in. So, we can't tell you for the...
Move over Sam McClure. We've
got a couple of phone calls here. I'm like Adrian Wojnarowski from the ESPN for the basketball, baby. The hot stove.
So who are you going?
Look, I'm going to go nostalgic here, and I really want to see the Cats make a run here, so maybe I'm letting my emotions get the best of me, but I'm taking the Cats at the MCG.
Yeah. I disagree with you. I think the Tigers are going to win this one and bounce back. They generally lose 2 in a row, and if they want to be a back-to-back premiership side this year, then they have to win this game. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. Fieldsy, what do you think?
Very good point. They do really lose 2 games in a row, but I'm going to have to go with you on this one. I'm going to go with Geelong. So the big 3, or the big 4 really, Ablett, Duncan, Selwood, Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Duncan been injured for a few weeks, Ablett been injured, Dangerfield not really hitting their straps. At some point, they're going to hit their straps, I think. And second half of the year, I think they come very good. And I think Geelong, too much midfield power. Dusty, not sure if he's playing. Geelong win. Close game, though. This will be the match of the round.
Yeah, I agree. It should be an absolute beauty.
You agree with me, Fieldsy, shows that if you can't beat him, you might as well join him. So.
Well, considering that you said...
Don't know.
Considering that you said the Hawks and Crows would be the match of the round, just really shows where you're at, I think.
Hey, when we're in Adelaide, win in Rome, you've got to go with the Crows in Adelaide. It's the biggest game. Listen, the world revolves around Adelaide football. Port. Honestly, it could be
Where's
Port.
it being played?
MCG.
Doesn't matter. We're in Crows Nation here.
You can tell these guys are housemates, can't you? So,
Better to toss this table and settle our scores on the basketball court.
Well, guys, anyway, that's all we've got time for this week. Fieldsy, thank you so much for coming on this week, mate.
I appreciate it, Bev.
It's been a pleasure having you on.
Pleasure,
and
thanks for having me, big man. Appreciate it.
Love it, baby.
And before we go, we should say a special shout out to Neil Danaher. What an amazing job. 4th year in a row now for the Big Freeze, and each year it keeps getting bigger and better. Over $1 million this year have been raised, and well done to everyone. Well done to you for getting the beanies for us, big fella.
Big dog.
And all 18 coaches that went down the slide on Monday. That's just superb stuff. It just shows the respect that everyone has towards Neil Danaher. The man is a champion. Let's hope he just keeps on kicking. And well done to him and everyone that's got involved in this. The whole of Australia, really, and the whole of the world, because it's just such a horrible disease. And everyone just keep getting behind it, put all your money behind it. Tomorrow night they'll be selling the beanies at the ground for the Port Bulldogs game, so get involved in that. And let's hope we can just get rid of this horrible disease as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
Thanks again.
Amazing family, the Danahers, an amazing man, an amazing family for an amazing cause. So everyone going to the game, make sure jump on and still get a beanie.
Yeah, well said, Fieldsy. Any more last words?
No, Neil, you've done a great job, buddy. Keep driving, keep fighting the good fight, and it's really a token to the Australian culture and stuff. It's amazing stuff. So, hey, thanks for being an inspiration. And, I was just admiring this hat, and I think the poof ball up the top really fits you in the stash there.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
That's a good look.
Yeah. Well,
Looks good on Brooklyn Bridge, actually.
Yes.
So, signing out from New York, folks. It's been a pleasure to
Bevo,
travel
This
overseas.
is Alex. This is Fieldsy. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.
Forget about it, folks. We'll see you next time.